Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime Gachiakuta. Synopsis on any list. A boy lives in a floating town where the poor scrape by and the rich live a sumptuous life, simply casting their garbage off the side into the abyss. When he's falsely accused of murder, his wrongful conviction leads to an unimaginable punishment: exile off the edge with the rest of the trash. Down on the surface, the cast-off waste of humanity has bred vicious monsters, and to travel the path of vengeance against those who cast him into hell, the boy will have to become a warrior. Now, I watched the first 3 episodes. Overall, animation, good. Design-wise, I like it a lot. Story-wise, we will have to see how it develops. I do have like a picture, so the whole point is that we are on this floating island and our main guy he's living on the slum side. We have like a clear distinction between the slum side and the more, noble part, where in the noble part everything is clean, everyone has to have new pristine conditioned items, while the slum side is using whatever they can to just survive. And they are more or less getting people in the noble quote-unquote part look down on them. I do have a little picture. We have this nice little picture. You see the slum side and the quote-unquote noble part. I do like this a lot. It's a nice contrast. Now, our guy is in this slum part, and one day he is on the scene of a murder, and he gets wrongly accused and then cast off the edge. Now, why he's getting cast off the edge, he's promising he's going to come back, he's going to enact revenge against everyone else. At this point, everything is fine. You need some motivation why you are getting down there, quote unquote down, or on the surface, because then we find out, hey, there's a floating city or town. On the surface, we find out there's a lot of trash, there are monsters born of trash, and he more or less joins a couple people to fight off trash monsters by day, and I guess plan his revenge by night. Now, so far, I like the characters. Our main character, he is a little bit on the angry side, a little bit on the, not too bright side. However, he's willing to, learn. He's willing to use whatever he can. He has a father figure that taught him a couple, useful things, and he's trying to enact those, which is really nice. We see how he's trying to adapt and do all the stuff, sometimes successful, sometimes not. Totally okay. I like this a lot, even though he's a little bit on the, more or less short fuse side. We also see a couple other characters. We don't have too much on the other characters at this point, 3 episodes in. The whole first episode was just the setup of his previous life and until he gets cast down. Second episode is then some action, and we get to see some action of the other characters, a little bit of the future, potential that our guy can have. It feels like this is going to be a lot of, training, our guy getting stronger, fighting some good fights, and then at some point we are going to potentially get up there or find something else to do. Now, again, animation-wise, pretty good. We do have some CG being used, but it is used very well. No problems here. I like the impact that some of the scenes have. I like the use of color. I hope we continue. We have one guy who is using like yellow. We have our main guy who is using red. That is why, it's mostly red on the picture. And we know one guy has blue. So I am assuming we are going to meet 2 more. We already met a 4th character, probably like a 5th one later. And I hope they get some of the other colors. Pink, green, whatever we have. Purple. We will see. Maybe white. White could be pretty interesting. Probably some kind of boss or so. Now, my assumption is, story-wise, that there is someone who perpetrated the crime, and I am assuming this is the real father of our main character, because that character, the father got dumped into the pit really early on. It's like a side, we don't really know why. We do know why, supposedly, but as we see in the story, who knows at this point? There could be all kind of stuff. It is also interesting that we see our guy go into the noble area in here, go into their trash and try to scavenge for good stuff. And not only are there armed guards protecting the trash for some reason, they also have like alarms in the trash region, wherever the trash is kept. They have alarms there. They have like multiple guards that all have weapons and come out and shoot someone because he's scavenging trash. Not even like he going onto into the trash can, whatever, from your neighbors. No, he's like in a trash facility trying to steal some trash or scavenge. And we have armed personnel that just attacks them. Okay. I guess this is part of the world. I assume they don't have much else to protect against for some reason. So sure. Just found it a little bit strange. Overall, again, animation, pretty good. The 3D, well used. The animation, the impact, pretty good. The colors are really nice. The characters, the style of the character seems pretty good. Now there is another part that one of the things is that our main guy is from this floating town, and everyone down there hates the people of the floating town, understandably, because they dump their trash on the ground. Now he gets some of his clothing sold because it would identify him. He would have a bad time. However, he still has his pants, which are clearly from the floating city, so I don't know why that didn't get addressed, but sure. Character itself, apart from our main character, which we know a little bit of, or most of, the other ones are a little bit weak at the moment because we do not have spent enough time with them. I'm assuming they get fleshed out a lot more. We already get a little bit of some background of one of the characters, so I'm assuming we are going to get more, get their goals and stuff. That could be very interesting to see. It seems also that some, or maybe most of these people are born down there instead of in some floating city like our guy. So that could also be interesting. Now, one part I really did not like too much is we are on the floating island. We get falsely accused and then thrown into the pit. Now, this is already enough motivation to go back up, take revenge, yada yada yada. Totally understandable. Now, we have some interaction with a specific character, a girl our character likes, who then also more or less turns away from him last second, which is just, for me, it's just why. It doesn't really add much because he already has like a revenge mindset against the people. It could be, oh, then he needs more to be more angry. I don't I would have liked a little bit more if she was somewhat unsure. She would still try to believe in him. So he has like some kind of, silver lining in that floating city. Because what could happen, I do not know the story, but he's now down here. His whole point is revenge against the floating island. So he could potentially just blow it up. From the down the ground, he could launch rockets up, destroy the floating island, done. I mean, revenge done. Additionally, he could get some kind of life down on the ground, in which case he's like, revenge is not even all that necessary anymore. I have a better life here. I'm not going to forgive them, but I'm not going out of my way to try and enact revenge, because my life down here is pretty good. Now, if he had someone to look forward to on the floating island, he would have another reason to go back, not only to enact revenge, but then to potentially rescue whoever he wants to rescue on the floating island. I feel like we could have gone that way, could have had another angle to go back to the island, but we just shut this one off and just, I don't know. For me, it did add nothing to the whole point. Additionally, we wasted, in my opinion, a lot of time for, just nothing in the end. Because we could have removed this whole section and it would have been fine. The story would have been the same, in my opinion. But that is the only real issue I have. Overall, AniList gave it 79%. My anime list has it at an 8.08. Now, this story screams shonen. And I mean, really, it is like shonen, a lot of fighting. And the fights are not bad. Don't get me wrong, good fights and all of that. In the first 3 episodes, again, because this one character, in the end, decided to not believe in our character anymore. We have like a whole bunch of that first episode that could have been just removed. Overall, I would say it is an 8 out of 10. It is not bad by any means. It has good animation. If you like fights, if you like what feels like a shonen show, like My Hero Academia, in that direction, you are going to really like this show. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, for me, the characters are not strong enough because we do not have spent a lot of time with them. However, I only have the first 3 episodes at this point, so it is a strong 8 out of 10. Could go up if we get some really interesting character and development.